All right, it's been a couple weeks, but I am back and we are going to be looking at some of the things that have happened over my time away. So, Democrats have not even taken office yet, and they are proposing massive reforms to the state's laws. House Bill 6544 would make it illegal to own uh, many kinds of rifles. Many, like a lot of them. Um, the bill might not go anywhere, but it is a predictable development, and Democrats are going to keep pushing for it. Governor Gretchen Whitmer celebrates our small businesses. Hooray! But she still hasn't acknowledged the small business owner that she arrested for operating her business. We'll talk about that. Republicans need to bring something to the table better than potential for fraud. So I discussed the potential for fraud argument and the differences between our state constitution and national constitution. And finally, there's more fun at Grand Haven Public Schools. They're encouraging more gender confusion for children, of course. Who was surprised? I don't think anybody was. I'm Anon Don, and this is the Homes Politicast. All right. So here we are on this beautiful Saturday morning with the snow falling. Well, the snow fell. It's on our ground now. Um, so I hope you're ready for the snowy season. It's going to be great. So my first order of business is House Bill 6544. So Michigan, you wanted her. You wanted that blue control. You were just salivating for abortion rights, and so now we've got them. And also, you can't have guns. I know probably most of my listeners weren't salivating for those things, but Michigan as a whole went kind of blue. Um, but actually, not even as a whole. Like 6, 7 different parts of it were salivating for those things, but not Michigan as a whole. Michigan as a whole doesn't want this, which we'll be talking about later when we get to the Constitution part. So here it is, glorious, splendid, resplendent. I know those two words sound similar. Um, yeah, in all its glory, House Bill number 6544. Look at this. This bill is actually 2 pages. Why can't all our bills be 2 pages? That'd be great. So, what is it? Introduced by Representative Pepper from Detroit, of course, right? Because that's where these things come from. I'm just going to make sure that my. Here it is. Okay, yes, I am. So I'm trying out a new thing where I don't have a microphone in front of my face, and I think it's going to work out a lot better because it's already working out pretty well. So, a bill to ban the manufacture, possession, purchase, and sale of assault weapons, to provide certain powers and duties for certain state and local officials and agencies, to provide for the promulgation of rules, and to provide penalties. So, here we are with that. We're going to get into just what this bill is in just a second. I think we need some mood music. Section 1 is used in this act. Assault weapon means a semi-automatic rifle that has an ability to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following characteristics. A pistol grip or thumbhole stock, any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand. A folding or telescoping stock, a shroud that is attached to or partially or completely encircles the barrel and that permits the shooter to hold the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned, but excluding a slide that encloses the barrel. Except as otherwise provided in this section beginning January 1st, 2024, a person shall not manufacture, possess, purchase, or sell an assault weapon in this state. A person may continue to possess an assault weapon that the person legally possessed before the effective date of this act. If both of the following apply, the person registers the assault weapon with the Department of State Police in compliance with rules adopted for that purpose by the Department of State Police. The person renews the registration of the assault weapon every 5 years. There's more. There's more. Oh no, I lost my spot. There it is. A person who violates subsection 1 is guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment not more than 5 years. The Department of State Police shall not promulgate rules pursuant to the Administrative Procedures Act of 1969, 1969 PA 306, MCL 24.201. Okay, so that's just technical stuff. Look at that. I love it. A bill that I can read in like 2 minutes with awesome background music. 2 minutes and 20 seconds that took to read that bill. And that was out loud with dramatization. I mean, you can fly through that thing in about 10 seconds yourself. Well, we like to spice it up around here. So, what are we looking at here? So, getting rid of rifles that have a pistol grip or thumb hole stock. Now, a thumb hole stock, what is that? I know what a pistol grip is. Oh, thumb hole stock. Okay, so it's just a place for your thumb to go. You're not allowed to have that. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what the rationalization is for that. Seems kind of silly. So, rifles like this won't be allowed anymore. So you're gonna have to change your stock on there. Let's see, what else do we got here? I know what the any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand. So if you've got something coming off the bottom of your barrel to hold on to, I don't know if I'm in frame. So you've got the trigger, you've got it, like this, and you can hold on to something in front of your gun while you're shooting. That is not allowed. Anything that has a shroud around the barrel, so something that you can hold on to. So to hold on to the front of your gun, I think is what they're going for. You're not allowed to do that. Let's see. Yeah, because they want you not, holding the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned. They want you to be burned as you're firing your firearm. There's one more thing. No, that's about it. They just want you to be burned. So, would this have stopped the infamous Oxford shooting? We know that Governor Whitmer was just pushing this on her Twitter. Oh, Oxford was so bad. Oxford this, Oxford that. We need more gun control. So, would this have done anything to stop the Oxford high school shooting? Let's see here. I believe that Oxford was perpetrated with a pistol. Let's see how the shooting unfolded. Yeah, the semi-automatic handgun. So, perfect. The weapon, a 9mm Sig Sauer. I probably pronounced that wrong, but perfect. Our lawmakers are doing so much to stop another high school shooting. Brilliant. All right, House Bill number 6544. Hopefully it won't go anywhere because I think we still have one sane House of Representatives. So Republicans aren't going to let that go anywhere. And if it does go anywhere, I think there will be lawsuits. Although I'm not depending on Michigan to be that competent at this point. So there's our anti-gun laws coming to Michigan. Big change. You wanted it, you got it. It's here. There we go. All right. So big changes coming to Michigan there. So let's talk a little bit about. Oh yeah, Governor Gretchin Whitmer celebrating small businesses. Look at this. Look at this. She's so nice. Look at it. It's Small Business Saturday. Michigan small businesses are the backbone of every community and support over 2 million jobs. They deserve our support today and every day, unless it's flu season, or you have a cough, or you're not in a mask, or if the governor feels that you're not. What was the word that she was using? Um, um, no, I can't remember. Necessary. Uh, Crap, I forget the word they were using. But unless Governor Whitmer just arbitrarily decides that your business isn't needed, then if all those things don't apply, then they deserve our support today and every day. Okay, perfect. So Marlena, uh, she didn't get a lot of good publicity from this, as you can imagine. So there was one comment here just listing off businesses that have closed because of COVID lockdowns. Shatila Bakery in Dearborn, Pingree in Detroit, Gifts Afloat in St. Clair Shores, Patrick and James in Port Huron, Weekends in Lexington, Le Marche in St. Clair, Third Coast Surf Shop in St. Joseph, Three Pines Studio, Cross Village, Crooked Tree Arts Center in Petoskey. Another user posted Crane's Detroit article saying that Facebook data finds that Michigan leads nation in small business closing. So that's not a good response from that article, right? Right? Like, if you're saying that, and of course it's behind a paywall, Crane's Detroit. I have subscribed to them before, but not right now. But not the greatest response when you're trying to promote Small Business Saturday and half of your state is like, Yeah, remember my small business that you quashed? Like, why are you now doing this? Um, Shelly says most of the businesses I enjoy are gone, thanks to you. And then there's a rude hand gesture. Um, yeah, Sally McQueen says how soon she forgets about 32% put out businesses. Very correct. Very correct. So that was my first thought too. When I saw that tweet, I was like, huh, Miss Whitmer, I distinctly remember you putting somebody in jail for operating their small business on the basis of something that wasn't a law. There still has never been a law passed by the legislature that says that businesses cannot operate if the health department shuts them down. I'm still unaware of that, or of a law that says that business owners can be arrested for operating their businesses. You may not get government approval to run your business. There are businesses up north that run basically without government oversight. They have to label that they're uh, not validated or verified or whatever by the Michigan Health Department. They have to label that they are a home kitchen, but they work without the health department's say so. Why are they allowed to, but Marlene is not? I think the most that our health department should be able to do is say, we don't endorse this. This is not a good place to go, and it's not healthy. But to arrest the business owner, I think has gone too far. And of course, I said that when it happened, and my opinion is not worth much. So Governor Whitmer didn't worry about that too much. So we move on to how the heck did we lose this election? While I posted I had a Twitter post that wasn't necessarily very popular. See, when I'm smashing Democrats for being awful, my posts are very popular. This one, not so much. So this needs to stop. Republicans played the game wrong and lost. Democrats are allowed to lie in their ads. They harvest ballots. They send out mailers that are filled with lies. Republicans don't door knock. Those are facts. So that's where the problem is. I don't think it's in the tabulators. I don't think that we're getting massive amounts of fake ballots running through our tabulators, as some people suggest. There was that suggestion in the 2020 election that many of the ballots were not actual real ballots, that somebody had copied a bunch of ballots and then checked them off for Democrats and for Democrat causes and then sent them through the tabulators, right? There was also this idea that the tabulators are just, for every one Democrat vote that counts two or, whatever. So as the Republicans spend all this time looking for all this fraud, they fail to be out knocking on doors, um, funding ballot harvesting, funding different things that will actually make a difference in the elections. And we really need to make a difference in the elections because I think we need a different way of doing our elections, and that requires a Republican legislature. Democrats want a different way of doing elections too, but it's not necessarily going to benefit anybody except them. So, as Democrats change the system more and more, we need to play their game. I know you don't like to hear it, but ballot harvesting is going to have to be an option, right? Mailers, I mean, we can't do much about that, but door knocking, Republicans door knocking does a lot, and it's going to do a lot more, right? If every Republican voter spent one day going and knocking on doors, we could knock on millions of doors across the state. If every Republican voter let's see. Let's see where our let me pull up this election map here real quick because I had the total. So we had 1,960,635 Republican voters. Now let's take 2/3 of that, okay? Because I recognize that not everybody can get out and door knock. We've got elderly people that are unable to do it. Um, there's people that are sick. There's people that just have bad health. Not everybody can do it. So 1,960,635. We'll just times that by 0.66. That's 1,294,019.1. So we got that 1/10 of a person in there. So let's take our 1,300,000 or so, and you go out in a day and you knock on like 15 doors. 19,410,000 doors. If 1/3, so let's take 1/2 of our, no, you know what? Let's just take 10%. 10% of our 1,960,635. 10% of those. Everybody, okay, 196,000 people. 196,000 people. I know that many could probably go out and door knock. See, they go out and door knock, they cover 20 houses in one day. That's almost 4 million people. That's almost half our state, right? We could probably cover almost all of our state. You went out twice and you get 20 doors, that's almost 8 million. That's almost our entire state. That's like 80% of our state. So it's not like this is not doable, right? Because we need to win the independents. Republicans are not going to win this way, right here. They're not going to win by saying the vote was rigged. There's problems with the election, and there very well may be. And I am one of the people that think that there are huge problems with our election, but we're not going to win independence that way. And we're not going to win just based off of our Republican votes. The media is not going to help us. That leaves door knocking and ballot harvesting, right? So we do the same thing the Democrats do. It's legal. You may not like it. You may not like going to somebody's house and helping them fill out a ballot and then taking it and turning it in. But it's legal. And unless you want to change our system, we're going to have to engage in it. Or unless you want our system to stay the same, then we are going to have to engage in exactly what the Democrats are doing. So while this post may not be particularly popular, I think it's one of the posts that are going to be influential in our, well, not the post itself, but the ideas in the post are the way we're going to influence our state the most. So uh, that's kind of a shout out to Patrick Colbeck, former state senator, that's looking for massive amounts of fraud. So why, in the name of all that is good, do we have an electoral college for our president and our governor is instated by popular vote? Why do we have that? Because what it seems like is we don't want our country to be run by mob rule, but we will have our state run by mob rule. So we talk about changing the way elections are done. And first, we need to play the game correctly. But then we need to be playing the long game. Democrats have what they want 20 years out. They know where their end goal is. So that's where we need to get as a Republican Party, and that's where uh, conservatives need to be winning independence is for the long game, right? So we can craft our vision of what we want in the future and have that be the end goal. We say, look at our national voting system for president. Why is Michigan not the same um, for our executive or for our executive branch? Why is it a popular vote? In fact, why does anything pass with a popular vote? I think all of the ballot proposals, everything that we passed, quote, passed this year, um, had the popular vote not been enabled, none of it would have passed, right? Not a single one. Because I'm going to show you this map here, and you're going to say, how did we lose? Right? Right? Look at all that red. Look at it all. I'm just letting you kind of sink your mind into that because this is what the state of Michigan looks like. This is right from Fox to Detroit. And I've even got a couple of counties up at the top that you can't see because my stupid picture is in the way. Let's get that out of there. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see. Okay. Wow. Sorry for that silence. Apologize for that. I'll cut that out in the audio recording. So this is what we're looking at. This is our state, and I was just going over um, percentages, and I saw a lot of look at this, 71.2% to Tudor Dixon, 59 to Tudor Dixon, 50 to Tudor Dixon, 56 to Tudor Dixon, 58 to Tudor Dixon, 60 to Tudor Dixon, 51, 62, 59, 62, 67, 55, 55, 53. So here's what I'm getting at with all of my rambling and my um, failure to keep my microphone on. Here's what I'm getting at is that most of our state as a whole, most of the people that are in this, or most of the counties that are in this state, did not want Tudor Dixon. As you can see, this map is mostly red. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I think 19 counties that wanted Gretchen Whitmer out of, there's got to be like 100 up there. Yeah, I think there's about 100, 109 counties. Maybe less, maybe like in the 80s, but it's a pretty low percentage of counties. So I again asked, why do we elect our executive branch for the country with an electoral college and not the executive branch for our state? Did we all of a sudden think that that was undoable or that that was a bad idea? I'm not sure. I'm really not. But this has got to be the long goal. This has got to be the long game, is to get our executive branch and quite possibly everything else to be voted on by electoral college. It works for the country as a whole. Why not for our state, right? So that's our long game, and I think that's where we've got a shot. It's not at, you know, it's not in getting rid of the voting machines. You can get rid of the voting machines, and you're going to have the exact same turnout, is what I'm thinking. Maybe the numbers look slightly different, but not by much. Um, Checking to see if any ballots were copied. They're not official ballots. Might get you a few votes. Isn't going to get you a win. These are the things to do to get a win. Door knocking, um, ballot harvesting, and changing the way that Michigan runs elections. Okay, so again, I'm so sorry about I changed scenes and I cut myself out, and you're probably like, oh man, here we go again with the technical crap with this dude. So you can go and read the Michigan Constitution, and there's nothing in there about how uh, stuff is done, but or how the votes are counted. Uh, we need to add, and we can do this. Again, I crunched the numbers. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I crunched the numbers. If we have 10% of the Republicans out door knocking 2 times, we can cover most of our state. I realize that there are some logistical things that happen, but if we were to do that, if we were to have a rallying point for Republicans that we say, okay, we're going to everybody's going to chip in to get a an amendment to our Constitution. Everybody's going to knock on this many doors, and we will get this thing done. Then we've got it, right? We don't even actually need to wait for the legislature for that. We've got it. But that's kind of something that happens in my dreams, and probably not in reality. So there we go. That's my 2 cents on that. We move on. So Patrick Colbeck is dumping a lot of money into letsfixstuff.org. Let's see. I'm not against Patrick Colbeck, and I'm not against fixing stuff. I love fixing stuff, but there's just a lot of uh, stuff that is not going to convince the independents. Okay, how the media promotes false narratives. Well, we know that. Anybody listening to the show knows that because I show where the media presents false narratives all the time. Election results are missing key audit trail links. So look at this. Look at this piece of uh, writing that we've got from November 25th. That was just a couple weeks ago. Look at this. This dude wrote all this. I'm still scrolling. This is probably about 10 pages worth of material, maybe 11, 12. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Um, yeah, a lot of pages of stuff. And if instead we were focused on changing the way we do elections, we might be getting somewhere. All right. Last but not least, possibly last but not least. No, yeah, this is last but not least. Okay. Restoring Ottawa. Resources about gender. So, more gender stuff from Grand Haven area public schools. The constantly shifting and incoherent ideas of gender studies are invading our schools and our society. The result is that our young students have become confused about their gender. The Michigan Department of Education assembled a team of experts called the MDE, Michigan Department of Education, LGBTQ Student Project, who put together resources which they said were meant to support LGBTQIA plus students. In actuality, these videos encourage education professionals to promote gender ideology to colleagues, students, parents, and community members. Teachers in Grand Haven read a transgender themed book to very young students under the guise of teaching children to be accepting of all different types of people. While people taking actions like those listed above have often have good intentions, the results of their actions are becoming increasingly apparent. When people making recommendations and taking actions have the ability to reach a larger number of people, the harmful effects of their actions are multiplied. We as a community must stop dismissing the effects of their individual actions as negligible. They have a cumulative effect, and those suffering the most harm are our children. The cumulative effect of gender ideology topics presented to our children is glaringly obvious. It is having a destabilizing effect on our educational system and our culture. And this is all absolutely correct, right? We look at Abigail Schreier's book. We know that this is going on. We'll continue. If you are an adult, ask yourself, how many transgender people did you know growing up? How many transgender children did you know? In the present day, I have two transgender children in my extended family alone. I know one transgender adult and an additional transgender teen. These people deserve love, guidance, and may need to be seen by professional counselors as they likely have complicating psychological issues. And I would just throw in there that maybe professional counselors aren't the best thing for them to go see because they're in on it. Professional counselors are uh, not opposed to gender ideology. So, no, no one the professional counselor. Unfortunately, both of the transgender children in my extended family suffered extremely difficult childhoods before finding stability in their current living situation. Many children suffering from gender and sexual confusion suffered in early childhood and need the services of trained counselors, not affirmation, everywhere they turn. So, this goes on. Mary Jane Evink um, influencing as many people as possible in her role, and she's still at Grand Haven Public Schools. Mary Jane Evink is curriculum director, sending out these uh, resources for LGBTQ youth, and you know, it just comes to the point where I mean, a lot of independents aren't going to um, uh, they aren't going to see this, and they aren't going to um, really think too hard on it, right? Which is unfortunate. Um, but possibly there's a point that we get to where they will. Um, I'm looking for a certain clip. I should have had it pulled up beforehand. Wow. I just want the oh, there we go. Okay. I'm very close to getting this clip. So what's going on in our schools is definitely concerning. What Mary Jane Evink is doing is definitely concerning, and what others are doing with their schools, well, you know what, I'll let him speak for himself.
I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Meet Joe Bruno, Dean of Students at the prestigious Francis W. Parker Private School in Chicago, which happens to charge $40,000 per student.
They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're like, how does this butt plug work? How do we do like, how does this work? That's a really like cool part of my job.
Parents might be stunned to learn that Bruno's version of love and acceptance means handing out sex toys to underage students.
So I've been the dean for 4 years. During Pride, we do a Pride Week every year, and I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Who is this?
This is an LGBTQ plus health center came in to talk to my high school students.
Nice.
They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're looking at them.
In the school?
In a classroom.
Wow.
Yeah. While I'm sitting there. Then we had a drag queen come in, pass out cookies and brownies and do photos.
It's so amazing. And everybody's cool with that, like the butt plugs and the dildos. Nobody complains.
No,
I mean, if the parents found out, would they?
no, it's queer sex. This is the drag queen that came in,
What's her name?
Alexis Bevels,
Alexis Bevel.
and just hung out in my classroom.
So I think that kind of makes my point. This isn't something that just stays where it is. It's not something that just stays in books, and um, it's not something that's going to remain out of the classrooms very much longer, especially if we're keeping people like Mary Jane Evink in there. So this article is this Substack article was definitely, you know, making the point that if we're going to continue to allow this as a community, then it's going to only get worse. These people only push more and more. And of course, I've showed you some of the videos coming out from the Department of Education. Um, it's not, you know, good stuff. It's not stuff that I think many parents want. And what we know is that if we go door knocking and we talk to people, people are not up for this. They're not like on board with this. They're not like, oh yeah, we need more butt plugs and dildos in our classrooms. Oh, even with most of the books. Um, I talked to Jen Stuppy, and she was going door to door talking to parents about, hey, this book is in your school. What do you think about that? And people are like, no. Even her gay friend was like, no, that's not acceptable. That's not good for children. So again, we kind of come back to, we can't trust the media to get this information out. Uh, it needs to be us. We need to be doing that. So in that vein, I'm so thankful for you to be joining us today. Get you know, we need more people to be getting this word out. Uh, Again, the media is not going to help us. We need to be doing it ourselves. We need to be talking to people. We need to be active in our community, and you know, it may not change. All of our efforts may be in vain because when God decides to punish a civilization, um, he does it, whether we work against it or not. I think our best option is to, you know, be reaching people for the gospel. Um, but I also think that there are some changes that need to be made in the voting systems and in the way we do things as a country and the way Republicans do things. We have to be involved. You can't just sit back and be mad, especially if you're a Christian. You can't just sit back and be mad. You've got a duty to be out in the world and engaging in the world and shaping the world as you think, you know, it should be shaped, building a better world for your children to live in. I think I don't think I'm outside the realm of orthodoxy when I say that that is something that is extremely important to living the Christian life, just being a part of your society, not in a mean way, but in a way that makes your society a better place to live. So, with that, again, thank you for joining me. I will be hopefully a little bit more consistent. I've got all of my projects in for this semester. So, I'm done with school for this semester. We're looking at next semester. I'm driving to Battle Creek every day from Allendale, so that's a hike. So we'll see what that looks like. I've also got some lessons, some students that are taking lessons that I've got to fit in. So I'll still be doing stuff. Um, I'll still be, here. My shows might be a lot shorter, and they might be a lot more focused and targeted on like, hey, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this, and you guys can go look at those. So I won't be necessarily talking about it as much, but I want to thank you again for joining me. Um, and yeah, share this podcast with a friend if you think there's somebody that would benefit from hearing this or thinks in the same way that we do. Make sure you're sharing it with a friend because, again, the media won't. And with that, I'm Anon Don. This is the Holmes Politicast.